Thank you for serving God as an assisting minister. An assisting minister is like a worship leader who is a volunteer. Anyone can be an assisting minister by following these simple rules. If you forget how to do something, don't worry. Just let a pastor know that you need help. When you want to be an assisting minister, either sign up on worshipplanning.com or arrive early to see if the service you are going to needs an assisting minister. The first thing you should do when you arrive early for worship is let the pastor know that you are there and ask if there are special things for you to be aware of during this service, such as a baptism or grace link. Find the leader's bulletin that is usually on the podium and look over the entire service for your parts, which will be designated by either an L in contemporary or an A in traditional. These are your parts. And if you want, you may wear a rope and a cross. Then you should go stand in the back outside the sanctuary and wait to process in. The order of processional is cross, then acolyte, then you, then the pastor. In contemporary, you may begin by sitting on the seats on the stage. The role of assisting minister in traditional usually starts with singing, so don't sign up for this role unless you are willing to do some singing. It is strongly recommended that you practice with Mike Harris a few days before your first time as assisting minister. Your other jobs may include reading the first and second lesson and announcing the psalm or reading it responsively, whatever the bulletin calls for. In contemporary, we have only one reading typically, and after the final reading, in both spaces, the assisting minister will say, "Please stand for the gospel." If there are no kids at the worship service, you may be called upon to be a respondent in the children's message. When it comes time for the offering, you will bring the offering plates down from the steps to hand to the ushers. And again, after the offertory, typically sung by a choir or band, you will go get the plates from the ushers, turn to the altar, and raise the plates above your head to offer them to God. Then walk around and put the plates back where you got them. The next thing for you to do are the prayers. Follow the script in the leader's bulletin unless you have come prepared with a few petitions of your own. For the most part, these prayers start out global, such as praying for the world and its creatures, and then gets more local, praying for national leaders and those suffering or in pain. And then finally, praying for those in this church community by name. Typically, this last part is done by the pastor, so pay special attention for when the prompt goes from L to P, where the pastor continues the prayer. During communion, you will be distributing bread. Remember that not every worship service has communion, so follow the bulletin to see what's coming. If there is communion, after you receive the bread from the pastor, commune the musicians first. Your words are, "The body of Christ broken for you," or "The body of Christ given for you."
Body of Christ given for you.
At the end of communion, go back up behind the altar and place all of the elements there. The pastor will commune you and the other assistants first. And then you will commune the pastor last with bread and wine. You can return to your seat after communion. Then it's one more prayer for you called the post-communion prayer. After that, head down to the back of the aisle following the acolyte. Remember to bring a handheld microphone with you, which is typically on the front row of seats. You have the final line after the service. Go in peace to learn, live, and tell the story of God's grace. Go in peace to learn, live, and tell the story of God's grace. And you're done. Great job. Thank you for serving as the assisting minister to show others that we worship God all together.